I don't care what we have to do. I want to win. If you're not first, you're not nothing.
Al Jazeera's investigative unit is locking away a box of drugs banned in sport. We've just bought them from medical professionals who say they work with top-level athletes.
Doctors, chemists, chiropractors, those are the individuals distributing the performance-enhancing substances to athletes.
Working with a British athlete, we infiltrate a network who claim their scientific expertise can cheat the system.
I can take a guy with average genetics and I can make him world champion. I can. With drugs, oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Over 8 months, our hidden cameras capture what athletes call the dark side, the secret world of doping.
Do you want growth hormone? You want to get bigger, faster, stronger, smarter? You want all of it? That's fine.
We catch the chemical mastermind and hear about players he claims he's doped to fame.
And I can give you some to use right now. There's a bunch of football players that take this, and a bunch of baseball players take it too.
I played with the Cubs last year. I've taken that stuff off and on for 2 years.
Go Broncos!
And extraordinary claims that raise questions whether an American sporting hero, Peyton Manning, is linked to performance-enhancing drugs.
As long as they know what the testing procedure is, they'll always be able to beat it. The only way that you will ever get caught is by an investigation.
The best way to understand the dark side of sport is to meet an athlete who's been there and back.
There you go, driving, transition. There we go, good job. Good job, good arms, good drive.
After chasing the dark side the way I chased it, I've jumped on planes, I have crossed borders, I smuggled drugs. I have chased the best, I worked with the best.
Tim Montgomery was once the fastest man in the world.
Tim Montgomery's in lane 5. Very fast start. Out quickly is Tim Montgomery. Chambers beside him now. Montgomery with a slight lead. Montgomery by 2 feet, 3 feet. 9.78 seconds, a world record for Tim Montgomery.
Only 5 men have ever run faster.
Chase him down, come on. Be ready to go. When you get to that next cone, you gotta be running.
Look at here, look at your man. You gotta pay attention at all times.
A poor kid from South Carolina, Tim learned early on about getting an edge in local street races against older, bigger runners.
Some of these guys were souped up. And when I mean by souped up, they may drink a shot of liquor, hit a line of cocaine, and jump on the line. So that was my first experience of seeing someone try to jack themselves up. So it started there. That hunger, that feeling, that fast twitch, it started right there.
That hunger never left him. To stay ahead in a sport where a fraction of a second means everything, Tim turned to performance-enhancing drugs. In 2005, he was caught, banned from athletics for 2 years, and stripped of his world record.
I wanted to win. I wanted the glory I felt as a kid beating the older guys. I wanted that feeling. And just like everything is undone wrong, I got caught.
These days, Tim coaches young athletes, stressing the value of clean sport.
You're here, and just be patient. Boom, 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 and then slowly start bringing your head around and get into your run.
Honestly, I'm telling you, I'd said to him, listen, in flats, take it easy. And what does he do? peels out.
Liam Collins is a British athlete who's now writing a book about Tim's life. One of Tim's oddest stories is how he first got hold of drugs. He says he found a doctor in the Bahamas willing to supply, and Tim celebrated with a fish dinner.
We had went to Goldie's fish fry, and I was like, man, that's the first time I had red snapper. Fried red snapper, and I was like, man, I wish I can get some of this fish back.
And that gave him the idea for smuggling the drugs back home.
We could freeze it, and it'd stay frozen the whole trip. So then me, being a street dude, I took the pills back with me, but we took a bottle of testosterone back with us too.
Yeah.
And we took that inside the fish.
He and Liam have much in common. Both men have run into trouble and found a fresh start on the track. For a while, Liam went into property development, promising high returns he couldn't deliver. Investors lost millions, and Liam was banned as a company director. Liam's now back on track in every way, competing again and looking for new challenges. So we had a proposal. Help us to investigate doping in sport. He's perfectly placed to go undercover by claiming to be an athlete desperate to qualify for the Rio Olympics.
It's a closed business, you know, amongst people who are in the know. And here was an opportunity for me personally to be the guy to go undercover and make a change.
Our first task was to test out Liam's cover story.
Sit.
With the doctor who allegedly sold banned drugs to Tim Montgomery. Inside the airport, the Hall of Champions honors the island nation's greatest athletes. Pride of place goes to the Golden Girls, the 100-meter relay team who triumphed in the 2000 Olympics. In Nassau, we made an appointment for Liam with the same doctor Tim says he went to.
Which one is it? This one right here.
All right, Liam, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull into this parking lot up here on the right.
Mystical June.
All right, good luck, man. We'll talk to you soon, man.
In his bag, our hidden camera.
You're competitive, I think.
I'm #1 in the world for my age.
What's your personal best, please?
50.3 for 400 hurdles.
Dr. Cyprian Strawn is a respected figure here. At one time, he sat on a Caribbean-wide anti-doping board for bodybuilding.
Well, I don't do anything that's not on the... I don't do the banned stuff anymore.
Is there anyone else worth me speaking to on the island regarding if I wanted to do anything else?
I can give you a number. I don't know if he's gonna have...
Right.
He tends to be aggressive.
Aggressive?
Yeah.
What, in general, or just anyone new?
No, aggressive in terms of, I don't care. If you want it, I get it.
Oh, right, okay. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he gets his pay now, and he says, well, first of all, I don't do the stuff anymore. That's pretty much an admission that he used to, straight away. There's a guy called Dr. Fox, Dr. Nicholas Fox, who I've got his number, got his cell phone, works it, we've got the medical center number. So the chase continues.
I'm Dr. Fox. How can I help you?
I'm interested in the growth hormone, EPO, insulin, testosterone. Right.
These are all synthetic versions of the body's natural hormones. They build up strength and stamina, and they're banned by the governing bodies of most sports.
Insulin is not a problem. Get insulin.
Yeah, and then the other things are obviously the obvious EPO, growth hormone.
EPO I can get.
Now, am I being paranoid and thinking that a lot of athletes are on this, or do you know that a lot of athletes?
A lot of athletes.
Yeah. Have you got any gold medals to your credit yet?
Well, the Golden Girls, I 1, 2, 3. 3 of them have patients of mine.
Really?
Yeah.
You help them?
Not with this, but to just regular patients.
Yeah. We've got our man.
When we contacted Dr. Fox, he told us he'd lied to Liam, can't get banned drugs, and has never seen professional athletes. Dr. Strawn categorically denied supplying drugs to anyone and has never been charged with any wrongdoing connected to Tim Montgomery. No one has alleged that the Golden Girls used drugs. When we contacted them, Pauline Davis-Thompson told us she condemned athletes who dope as morally warped and gutless and said she's never met Dr. Fox. Our next step with Liam was to see if his cover story would lead us to top-level athletes on the dark side.
My name is Liam Collins. I'm currently 6 times European Masters M35 400-metre hurdles and 100-metre hurdles champion.
Over the next few months, our team worked on pinpointing people with possible connections to doping and steering Liam towards them.
My weakest area at the moment, I would say, is my strength and conditioning.
Liam again introduces himself as an athlete wanting a last shot at Olympic glory.
Yeah, I'm just going to put one last line in a little bit more emotive to let him know that I am at the point where I'm ready to do whatever it takes, really.
We spoke to wrestlers, runners, physios, trainers, doctors.
If you can give me a call, I'd much appreciate it. I'm in Washington, D.C. at the moment.
Eventually, we made a breakthrough beyond athletics to the world of North American sport. Vancouver is where Canada hosted the 2010 Winter Olympics. Liam's spoken by phone to a pharmacist here, Chad Robertson, who claims he's already worked with top athletes.
So I'm not going to lie, have I doped people? Oh yeah, and no one's got caught because the system is so easy to beat. And it still is. That's a sad fact. I can take a guy with average genetics and I can make him world champion. I can. A guy like me, I can get anything I want. I could get like a Russian tank through the border here if I wanted to.
After that phone call, Liam and Chad arranged to meet.
Chad, how you doing?
How are you doing?
Yeah, very well, thanks. Very good.
I've got some protocols that we're going to just blow you up really good. The oxidative free radicals like NOS and ROS, they come in there and they destroy the cell membrane, and then you get dysfunctional mitochondria, very common in athletes. We'll use some carbon as well. It's carbon-60. You can look into it. The U.S. military is using it off the record. You're a smart guy. You just keep your mouth shut. Well, that's basically it. And you don't sell your secrets.
Over coffee, Chad Robertson said he'd create a program covering diet, legal supplements, and the dark side. That included drugs banned in professional sports, like growth hormone known as GH, and other drugs which reduce fat and increase muscle.
Your GH is low. Put you on the Pemarelin and GRF 129. And what's the deal with shipping stuff to Utah? See if the guy can do it. If not, I'll hook you up with a broker of mine. Right? He has a military contract. Okay, start inspecting it. I'll just get it destroyed before anyone looks into it. Yeah.
One reason Chad Robertson is so open is because he wants to involve Liam in a proposed and legitimate business venture called ProMed. He gave Liam their presentation. ProMed will treat athletes who don't want to rely on their team doctors. The ProMed presentation already features some American football players. They hope Liam can bring in European soccer stars.
Liam?
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good, nice to meet you. I'm Brandon.
Nice to meet you, Brandon.
Nice to meet you. We need like a guy like Wayne Rooney or some big name where everybody knows.
Another partner in ProMed is Brandon Spletzer. He's a naturopath doctor, which means he's medically trained, although not an MD.
So, this is going to be how to give yourself an IV 101.
Am I the guinea pig on this, or is there high-level sportsmen who you worked with before?
There's high-level sportsmen, usually through the NFL in the US. That's kind of the market that we're going after.
Vancouver is in the only province in Canada where all naturopaths can prescribe drugs. Dr. Spletzer listed medicines for depression, sleep disorder, fertility, problems Liam never claimed to have. The same drugs can enhance performance.
Wellbutrin's no problem, modafinil's no problem, the HCG's no problem. And there was one more. Oh, the clomiphene was the other one, I think.
So as long as I've got a prescription, I can actually apply with it? Brilliant. Excellent.
Tell them it's for fertility, specifically HCG.
Right.
You just say this is for my fertility, my wife and I are trying to bump up my testosterone levels.
Chad was saying, essentially, if we start manipulating stuff, that we could actually get rid of the medical records.
Put it this way, I'm not really writing anything down. If you want to really go black ops, so to speak, I can just document everything, not in this chart, but on my own chart, and if somebody ever comes sniffing for it, it's very easy to just delete and say, no, this is the real chart, there's the decoy. If, say, WADA comes sniffing around.
WADA is the World Anti-Doping Agency. It determines which drugs are banned in most sports and how to test for them. Both Spletzer and Robertson praised another partner in their new ProMed venture, who they called a genius at outwitting WADA.
If I ever die, that's who I want you to go to. Right. He's the only guy I trust. He flies to people's homes like Mike Tyson. He takes care of Mike and a few other really big athletes. He's still to this day built the best NFL athlete that ever existed athletically.
He is so bright, it's scary. Wow. He's taken smart drugs to a whole new level.
Someone who's taken drugs to a new level was someone we needed to meet. Our hidden cameras are set up, waiting for this man. He's a doctor of pharmacy, Charlie Sly. And he doesn't waste time before he dives into the dark side.
Hot seat. One anabolic, and I can give you some to use right now, is this Delta 2 stuff. It's a steroid, but it'll be great for you for strength gains.
Oh, really?
There's a bunch of football players that take this, and a bunch of baseball players take it too.
Really?
And it was recently added to the MLB ban list.
Major League Baseball added Delta 2 by name, but as a steroid, it was already banned in baseball and football.
I'll just give you some stuff to bring back to you. We can go over to my apartment real quick and I can grab that stuff for you. I've got a car, yeah, perfect.
Inside Charlie Sly's apartment, Liam discovers his fridge is full of drugs, including a half-filled syringe, which Sly offers for immediate use.
So here's some of the stuff too that I'll give you. So like this is the Delta 2 stuff. What's this? This is the D2? Yeah. Now will I notice instant results for that? Yeah, you should notice a bump up in strength.
Instantly?
In a week, you should notice like 10-15% increases.
Wow.
Liam declines the offer, saying he wants to read up on Delta 2, so takes a syringe away. It's one of many designer steroids available online. A bottle costs less than $30.
When we got back to his flat, he pulls out this from the fridge. He's like, yeah, there you go. You can have it now if you want. This comes from a website. He says that it's the only website on the internet that sells this stuff. But Dustin Keller buys all their stock.
Dustin Keller is best known as the college football player who became famous overnight. In the 2008 Combine, the trials for top NFL clubs, the footage shows how Dustin Keller ran, caught, and jumped his way through in a way that's rarely been matched.
Now just search with this and see when it goes to the area of like discomfort. So like
While Charlie Sly treats Liam's sore arm with electrical pulses, not drugs, he claims he doped Dustin Keller to fame. He says they were at high school together where Charlie experimented with a range of drugs.
I used Adderall, then I moved to Dexedrine. I used anabolic steroids when I was in high school. I put on a ton of strength one time, and he was very interested in it. And he's like, what the f did you do?
So is that when you just started, or how long have you been on the good year?
All through college. Then we had to switch some stuff up because of the combine. See, college they don't test for stuff that they test for in the NFL.
So when they do the combine, do they test?
Yeah, we just stopped most stuff except for testosterone. We gave ourselves a good enough window. He stopped testosterone like 2 weeks before the combine or something.
Dustin Keller's performance at the Combine earned him a multi-million-dollar contract with the New York Jets.
He was in the spotlight then, wasn't he?
Yeah.
What was the plan then?
We just used Delta 2 because it wasn't detectable.
So you've had Delta all the way back since 2008?
Yeah, I mean, maybe since 2006.
Wow.
Most recently, Keller played for the Miami Dolphins until he was sidelined through injury. We asked Dustin Keller for a response about his alleged involvement with Charlie Sly, but he didn't reply, nor did Mike Tyson. Charlie Sly's claims would involve many other top players, but his most astonishing allegation concerns an icon of American sport.
Another time that I worked with Peyton, him and his wife would come in after hours to get IVs and all the time. We would be sending growth hormone all the time, everywhere.
The Al Jazeera investigative team is back in Vancouver. We've devised a cover story for a British athlete, Liam Collins, that to qualify for the Olympics, he's willing to cross to the dark side of sport and dope himself up. A pharmacist, Chad Robertson, appears convinced. He's devised a sophisticated program of cutting-edge science, drugs and treatments, a mix of legal and banned, none of which Liam will take. Our hidden cameras are set up.
You're gonna be doing like 10 injections a day in some cases.
Wow.
Okay, hormonal enhancement. Now we're gonna get into the bad shit. Right, so...
Chad explains they'll give Liam prescription drugs, falsely claiming he's suffering from exhaustion and low fertility.
Patient complaints as soon as a sort of hypogonadism, fatigue, lack of libido, low energy. So we're going to definitely basically use HCG and clomiphene to target those areas right away. The other areas that I'm going to do, I'm going to increase your growth hormone levels and IGF levels drastically through 3 ways. IGF-LR3, modified GRF-129, and ephemerolin. So I'm going to really trigger your growth rates.
These are all drugs known as peptides, which spike performance and aid recovery. They're widely available online with a disclaimer saying for medical research and not for human consumption.
First 4 to 6 weeks, I'd be furious if I don't see massive changes.
Yeah.
I want massive changes.
Brilliant.
He claims to have already helped American football player Mike Neal, who also appears in the presentation for Robertson's new sports medicine company. Neal won a Super Bowl ring in 2011.
Mike Neal, here's a great story. We dropped his fat weight, plays with the Green Bay Packers. We changed his position from a defensive lineman to linebacker. His salary with us went from making $400,000 a year to $2 million a year in 4 years. That's results.
With his Packers teammate Clay Matthews, Robertson claims he helped in a different way.
The NFC Championship game, it was Green Bay and it was Seattle. I had Clay Matthews, who was badly injured. We sent some narcotics to kill the pain because he barely get up out of bed.
Later, Robertson named the drug as Percocet, which isn't banned but should only be prescribed by a doctor. Neither Mike Neal nor Clay Matthews replied to our request for comment about Chad Robertson's claims. At their next meeting outside a sports complex, Chad Robertson tells Liam his supply of drugs is on its way. Some are coming from across the border in the US, from a secretive online source who won't reveal his location or his real name. He's known only as Thomas Mann.
Who's Thomas Mann?
Smart guy.
Is he?
Chemist. He's already been contacted. I don't want you contacting me.
Yeah, you said that the first time I met you.
He will go through your metadata on your phone. He will start pulling everything on you to see where your credit card's been, everything like that.
Yeah, okay.
Let Brandon do it.
Yeah.
You obviously know what I mean.
I know exactly
He'll be the fall guy. Hopefully not.
His fall guy is Brandon Spletzer, a naturopath doctor and one of Robertson's business partners. Some of the drugs he brings us aren't illegal, as hard drugs are, but they're not approved for human consumption, and that's making him nervous.
Needles, there's 100 in here. I've got another 300 on the way. So I use it all under a different name, whatever, right? Just so it doesn't trace back to me either. Basically, the peptides, they're pain, because I had to get them shipped in from the States. So they got held up at the border. I was kind of freaked out. These ones didn't. I actually went down to pick them up and brought them across myself. Put it this way, it was retarded of me to take this across the border, because that could have destroyed a lot.
We've locked all these drugs away, preserving the evidence of Liam's passport to the dark side. Neither Brandon Spletzer nor Chad Robertson provided us with any comment.
I've been sad, lots of bust. All you can do is do what you must do, what you must do, do it well.
It was time to meet Charlie Sly again. We wanted to test his doping expertise and his level of connections. He proved his link to one sportsman very quickly. Waiting at his building is a baseball player, Taylor Teagarden.
I played with the Cubs last year, and I played with 3 other different teams. Kind of bounced around a little bit.
Teagarden to deep right field. That finds a gap.
Taylor Teagarden has played in Chicago, Texas, New York, and Baltimore, and won an Olympic bronze. It seems Charlie's guided him on a mix of clean and banned substances, including the steroid Delta-2.
I used it last year. Yeah. I was scared, to be honest with you. I took it for like 2 weeks. Right. I had a test
4 weeks after my last administration of it, nothing happened. And I was also taking peptides too, but they were all urine tests, no blood tests.
So they're not doing blood tests?
No, they do.
They do?
They do, but once a year, maybe twice at most.
Yeah.
Some peptides leave the body in hours, others last days. So unless players are tested soon after taking these banned drugs, they have a good chance of getting away with it.
Did you just have that hanging around, or do you have some extra? Or did you order something? Yeah, I just had this hanging around. What do you think? Should we pop a ball? I put everything in that bag. Okay, everything that I need is in here? Yeah.
We asked Taylor Teagarden for a response, but he didn't offer one.
Major League Baseball had no steroid policy up until 2003. So in the 1990s, guys were so big, hitting so many home runs, the owners did not want these guys to get drug tested. They loved all the home runs.
The drug abuse that led to 2 decades of baseball being known as the steroid era also produced bigger, faster players, more exciting games, and revived the waning popularity of the sport. So how much has the game cleaned up?
I believe that at a minimum, 20% of the 40-man roster players are using performance-enhancing substances. And I mean, that's a conservative number from the information I gathered over the years.
Eddie Dominguez should know. For 6 years, catching the dopers was part of his job with MLB's investigation unit.
So that would mean that there should be 100 ball players that test positive, and they don't.
More than 8,000 tests were done last season. Only 10 resulted in players being disciplined.
Speaking to sources that were chemists, the chemists always say that it's a cat and mouse game. As long as they know what the testing procedure is, they'll always be able to beat it.
He needs a little break. He's tired. He's not as young as he used to be.
Making me blush over here. Thank you.
These days, Eddie has more time to play baseball with his son. He was forced out of his job last year when MLB restructured his unit. He wasn't surprised. Eddie says one of MLB's vice presidents made his view clear from the start.
I remember vividly the first day that I was there, he approached me and asked me if I was crazy to join the Department of Investigations. Nobody in baseball wants you. You were basically forced onto baseball. And I respectfully said to him, I think I'm here to do something that is important and make an even playing field for everybody involved. But having spent 6 years there, I think it's basically the bottom line. Like any corporation, it's there to make money. And all we were doing is adding bad press to Major League Baseball.
Let's go over the whole routine. Just like you were like 6 years old all over again. Let me know when you're ready. Okay, here we go.
2 hands?
2 hands, baby.
You got it.
Ready?
All right.
Here we go.
I believe that our investigations put fear into some players, but they'll always find a way. There's always a chemist, there's always a doctor. They'll find a way around it.
In reply, the MLB said it was players, not owners, who resisted drug testing. They called Eddie Dominguez's account patently untrue and said the investigations unit was launched voluntarily and enthusiastically. They described baseball as a leader in the fight against performance-enhancing drugs. Back in Texas, the pharmacist Charlie Sly named more sportsmen he claims are linked to Delta 2 in baseball and football. He says he coached them on what to take and how to avoid testing positive. In a series of conversations crisscrossing Texas, we primed Liam with questions to dig into the claims.
That is well hit. It is way back. 50 home runs for Ryan Howard.
So with the likes of Howard, once you set him off, is it like a maintenance thing?
He's somebody that you cannot overwhelm with stuff. You just make sure you have like everything in bags. He knows to take stuff twice a day. Usually I just have him like teach it back to me.
What did he notice in his hitting?
With the D2?
Yeah.
I think maybe just some more explosiveness. He had a couple years where he had just a ton of home runs.
That's a seeing eye single for Ryan Zimmerman, 3 for 4 on the day.
How long you known Zimmerman?
Probably 6 years. I'll work with him in the off season. That's how I get him to change some stuff.
Is he on the D2 as well?
Yeah.
What does he think of the D2?
He does his job.
Does he know it's a lot of power or not?
Yeah, but I think some guys have just kind of gotten used to it, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's a new normal.
And Harrison will go all the way, if it stands, the longest play in Super Bowl history.
You know who James Harrison is?
No, what does he do?
Oh, he's a beast.
Really?
Yes, he's a football player.
Who does he play for?
He plays for the Steelers. He's been at it for a while.
Fly him as well?
Yeah, with some stuff, yeah.
Is he in the D2 club?
Yeah, he takes it.
Each of Ryan Howard, Ryan Zimmerman, and James Harrison emphatically denies taking Delta 2 or any PD, and say whoever claims that is lying. James Harrison added he's never failed a test for banned substances.
If anyone says, what about testosterone? What's your typical answer?
You don't need it if you're taking Delta 2. Some guys just take it every day. Like, they refuse to stop it.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's like the biggest hardhead?
I don't know, maybe Mike Neal.
The ball is loose, and that's picked up by Mike Neal. He's having a heck of a game for the Packers.
Charlie Sly claimed Mike Neal was a good friend, and through him, he'd met several other Green Bay Packers players.
But this last year, I went out to Green Bay for like 6 weeks. I set Mike's stuff up, but then like he started bringing everybody. I'm not even joking, more than half the team started to come by.
Honestly?
Yeah.
Like who?
So Julius Peppers.
Julius Peppers, he's gonna take it all the way for 6!
So I would do everything, usually at like Mike Neal's house or Julius's house.
What's Julius like?
He's really cool, really. Yeah.
Is he pretty receptive to all this stuff?
Yeah, he's old too. He's like 36.
How does he find the D2? Does he like it?
Yeah, but he doesn't take it that often. He might only take it 2 days a week, or for just recovery. He's already pretty big. I probably talked to, I don't know, 25 people there.
Already directed them, or?
I've probably already directed like 10 of them, 12 of them. The thing that's good about the Delta 2 is I could just tell them where to order it from. I didn't have to get involved with it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The quarterback is in trouble, and Clay Matthews is going to get there. He's got the sack.
Do you know who Clay Matthews is?
Yeah.
I just got a text from him.
Oh, yeah?
So he plays with my friend Mike Neal. He wants Toradol, like in an oral form.
What's the benefit of Toradol?
It's a powerful anti-inflammatory.
Where's he getting problems with?
His ankle.
Long-term use of Toradol is so dangerous that it's banned in some countries, although not the US. Charlie Sly says Matthews is also using newer drugs to boost his hormone levels and avoid detection.
He takes Ivamorelin. I don't think that he takes HGH anymore just because of the potential for blood test.
What are the D2s? Clay on the D2?
No, I didn't want to like push the envelope with him because he's kind of a high-profile guy. So unless he asks for more, I'm not gonna try to push it on him.
Mike Neal, Julius Peppers, and Clay Matthews didn't respond to our request for comment. Neither did the Green Bay Packers. Charlie Sly raised one final astonishing question about one of the most beloved of American sportsmen. Fans consider Peyton Manning one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. At 39, he now plays for the Denver Broncos.
I think he's a great leader and a great role model. That whole character and that father and husband mentality is very important to me. I love Peyton Manning. He gives us hope. He gives us hope.
Peyton Manning's career almost ended through injury in 2010 while playing for the Indianapolis Colts. Charlie Sly claims he was part of a medical team that helped Manning recover.
What's he like as a person, though, Peyton?
He's really cool. If you just sit down with him. The first time I met him was at Geyers. I was like, I really appreciate you guys working with me. It sounded real genuine.
The Geyer Institute in Indianapolis offers a range of genuine anti-aging treatments. We've confirmed Charlie Sly worked in their pharmacy in 2011. That was also the season Peyton Manning missed through injury.
I did part of my training at the Geyer Institute, which is like this anti-aging clinic in Indiana. Him and his wife would come in after hours to get IVs and So one thing that Geyer does is he dispenses drugs out of his office, which physicians can do in the United States. It's just not very many of them do it. And all the time we would be sending Ashley Manning drugs, like growth hormone, all the time, everywhere. Florida. It would never be under Peyton's name. It would always be under her name. We were sending it everywhere. Like, we would go to Florida.
Growth hormone is banned in the NFL. The Players' Union held up the introduction of tests for 3 years. Since random sampling began in 2014, no one's tested positive. Charlie Sly appeared knowledgeable about the drug. He knows it's severely restricted, even as a legal medication.
Almost all drugs you can prescribe off-label. GH is one of the few drugs. It's really the only drug you cannot prescribe off-label. It's 3 indications.
We checked that with one of America's leading experts. Professor Alan Rogel is an endocrinologist. He spent 40 years treating children with growth hormone deficiency and has advised government and sporting bodies on the drug's misuse. He confirmed growth hormone for adults can only be prescribed for 3 conditions.
One is growth hormone deficiency, either carrying over from a child or an adult who's had a serious condition of a pituitary tumor, surgery, or radiation therapy in that area. The other 2 are short bowel syndrome, which is simply bowel cut out from a patient who's had cancer or another bowel disease. The third is HIV wasting. So these are people who have HIV and not doing well, they are wasting away. Those are the only 3 that are appropriate indications for growth hormone in an adult patient.
In response to Charlie Sly's claims, Peyton Manning's agent said the insinuations being peddled are baseless and absolutely false. Peyton Manning has never done what this person is suggesting. The treatment he received at the Gaia Institute was provided on the advice of his physician and with the knowledge of team doctors and trainers. He received these treatments during regular business hours or right after his team's afternoon practices. Any medical treatment received by Ashley is a private matter of hers, her doctor, and her family. Any medication shipped to her was prescribed by her doctor and taken solely by her. For Al Jazeera or its source to imply anything else is outrageous and wrong. So what about Dr. Dale Gaia, who prescribed and shipped the growth hormone? Many drugs can be used off-label if a doctor believes there's evidence it will help with a different illness. But that's not the case with growth hormone.
There are codes that say it is illegal. There are punishments, including jail, for prescribing it or for trafficking in it.
Very clearly, it is illegal to prescribe it for the doctor.
It is one of the only drugs that I know of that is, in that way, off-label prescription, illegal, not just not a good idea. It's illegal.
And if you had one of these 3 serious conditions, where would you go for treatment, and would that be an anti-aging clinic?
Never. The growth hormone deficiency would be an endocrinologist who takes care of adults. The HIV wasting would be an infectious disease clinic, perhaps a gastroenterology clinic, and a short gut certainly would be gastroenterology, gut surgery type clinics. They would not be anti-aging clinics.
Some doctors in anti-aging clinics who've supplied performance-enhancing drugs have been fined and jailed, their clinics shut down. Charlie Sly's claims, if true, suggest Dr. Gaia was widely prescribing growth hormone.
Do you think he gives HGH to loads of them?
To lots of patients, yeah. I know for a fact he does. I would see patients with him for part of the day, and the other part of the day, I would work in his pseudo-pharmacy. Yeah, I'm surprised that his place has not been shut down yet, Geyer's place.
Really?
Yeah.
Dr. Gaia didn't respond to our request for a comment. Charlie Sly said his statements about athletes were false and incorrect. New drug scandals in sport are emerging all the time. The Olympics are months away. And as our investigation has proved, there are plenty of doctors and chemists taking doping to a whole new level.
It's no different than a drug smuggler whose tunnel gets found today. Tomorrow, he'll have a plane. The day after, he'll have a submarine. I think athletes are the same way. The protocol that they're given, if they follow it, they'll never get caught.
For me, it was just to finally drive the debate away from are they doing it? Then maybe we can finally evolve to the next and the most important part of the debate. What are we going to do about it?
It becomes addiction. That feeling, that drive, that will, that want, that need. And it's not worth what you got to live with the rest of your life by doing it dirty.